everyone, it's Mona here at Craft Klatch. It is Friday, that means it's another Coaster Friday, and I have had a lot of requests to make a pizza coaster. So that's what I'm going to do. Aren't Fridays made for pizzas? So I gave it some thought on how to do it, and we're going to do it outside of the mold. We could probably figure out something in the mold, but I thought we'd take a little bit of a different approach. We're going to use polymer clay and resin together, and we'll just see what we come up with. So I have a tan and a brown polymer clay. I have a red polymer clay. I couldn't find a real nice cheesy color, so I just got the glow-in-the-dark polymer clay because that looked cheesy enough to me. And it'll glow. Now I also have this circle cookie cutter. Now remember, whatever you're using with the clay, you do not want to use it with food again after, so if you're going to dedicate something to it, be ready to just leave it there. So I have that, and I have like this little one, which would be good for pepperoni. I have actually a littler one too, so whichever one works, we'll see how it all goes. Now this circle happens to be just under 5 inches, and I didn't like the tan or the brown as the crust, so I thought perhaps I should mix them. I'm going to do half and half. See how that works out. And I also have this old rolling pin that I dedicated to the craft room years ago, so I don't use that for any kind of baking either. So I'm working on parchment paper also, and I'm just mixing these two together, so I'm going to just twist it and squish it, twist it and squish it until I get a uniform color that I like. So now we get to do the rolling. Okay, now I just cut it right out. And now I have some excess. And this could be as thin as you want it to be. So what I'm going to do with this excess is just kind of roll it into a snake. Now since we're not working with a mold, I need to create a crust for the pizza so that the resin can stay in there when I pour it. Alright, so I have my snake, and this is going to be a handmade pizza, of course. So if I don't get this perfectly round, I'm not going to really worry about it too much. So now I'm going to just take some of this outside and roll it in with it and just work it to create this crust for the pizza. And this doesn't need to be perfectly smooth because it's a pizza crust. It doesn't need to be smooth. I do want my fingernail and fingerprint marks out of it, however. So the pizza crust is ready to go into the oven. So just bake it according to your package directions on your clay. But before I bake it, I need to make some cheese and some pepperoni. That's my Italian. I'm going to use a red. And I do want it pretty thin because that crust isn't super thick or anything. When we put the resin on, we want it to be able to sit flat. So I'm going to take this little cutter and make some pieces of pepperoni. That is more than enough pepperoni. So we got the crust, we got the pepperoni, now we need the cheese. And all I'm going to do is take my craft knife, you can take a little razor blade, whatever, and I'm going to start just cutting little pieces just like this for cheese that I'm going to sprinkle on the top. And I got more than enough cheese. Now what I am going to do with just the corner of my knife here, I'm just going to texture the pepperoni a little bit. Then I'm going to stick all of these in the oven and let it bake. Here's all our pizza parts. Now I'm going to just take some red acrylic paint that's different enough from the pepperoni to create the look of some pizza sauce under a pizza pie. Let it dry. So we have our layer of the pizza sauce. Now I'm going to use my Mod Podge gloss. Because it's so clear, I'm going to kind of try to use it as an adhesive. First thing I'm going to do is put on my pepperoni. Now I'm going to put the cheese on there. I do want it to lay as flat as possible just because I don't want there to be any overflow later when I'm putting the resin on. So, I mean, the smaller your cheese, probably the better. The thinner you have it cut, the better. Now, normally I would let this dry overnight just to make sure that Mod Podge is completely dry. I am running behind, so I'm going to let it dry for several hours till I feel real confident that that Mod Podge is dry enough and isn't going to come back to haunt me when I put the resin on and then it stays cloudy forever. But remember, that's also why I use the super gloss, because that doesn't have as cloudy a film to begin with, so I'm kind of ahead of the game already. I have mixed some Easy Cast, and it's ready to go. And I have my pizza on some parchment paper. I'm going to slowly pour it in and let things kind of move around. It's going to flow into the cracks and the crevices, which is what I want, but that's going to make some of the bubbles pop up as well. As those bubbles rise to the surface, you're going to want to hit it with your lighter. Once you have the resin in there, you might want to help some of the bubbles that are getting stuck between the cheese pieces out with a toothpick, and then you can just hit it all with your lighter, just like that. Pop them, and then let it sit a minimum of 12 hours. Here's our pizza coaster. It's all set, perfect for a cup. We didn't even have to unmold it. It's kind of free form. I hope that all of you who requested this pizza coaster, I hope it's all that you hoped it would be. There's the back, perfect. It's not going to scratch anything. So I get lots of requests for coasters just like this pizza coaster, and sometimes I do them, sometimes I don't, but it's really hard to choose which ones to do. So to help me do that in the future, I have this fishbowl. So what I'm going to do is every Friday I'm going to post a video as normal, but at the end of the episode I'm going to pick an idea out of the fishbowl. So after each video I need you to put a comment in the description below of an idea that you would like to see me do for a coaster. And I will throw them in the fishbowl and I'll let them accumulate for a while, but every week I will pick one out so you'll know what coaster I am doing the next week. So since the fishbowl is empty, obviously I'm not picking one this week, and next week I actually have a collaboration set with Jenny, and we're each going to do a version of a flower coaster. So that's what's coming up next week. So what I need you to do today while you're watching this is throw a suggestion out there. Put it in the comments below. I will cut them out, toss them in the fishbowl, and then at the end of next week's video, I am going to pick an idea out, and that's what I will do for the following week. So thank you for watching. I need you to let me know what you think of the pizza coaster in the comments below. I need you to put an idea in the comments below so next week I can pick it out of the fishbowl. Remember to check out some of my other videos. Remember to subscribe so you don't miss a thing. And we will definitely see you next time. Happy crafting and stay safe. Till then.
I get lots of requests. Hello? Look, I am your father.